We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Rob.
And I'm Brian.
This is Rob and Brian Review. This is our part 2 review. Last week we did Captain America.
Whoa, Rob. It's Brian and Rob review. You know.
Yeah.
We talked about this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's Brian and Rob review. That's right. So last week we did our first part of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, basically reviewed episodes 1 through 5. And now we have watched the final episode, going to give our final verdict and everything on the show. I think we both really liked it, but wanted a little bit more. If you guys like content like this, consider subscribing down to the channel. Helps us continue to grow. I actually, not only did I watch it on Friday, but I made my wife rewatch the whole series with me on Saturday. And I got to say, from a rewatch, my opinion has changed quite a bit on the show. So first, why don't you tell me about a little bit, what did you think of the final episode?
A lot of things that I expected to get tied up, got tied up. A few of the twists I thought were predictable. But it was really cool to see Sam in his Captain America outfit.
I like the fact that we didn't have to wait for it. I mean, they had the big reveal in the last episode where he looks at the box, he's like, whoa. And then like, bam, 2 minutes into this one, if that, we see him flying and saving the day. So, we had talked a little bit about the pacing and the structure and all that stuff. And I got to say, rewatching it all in one day, because I mean, it's only 3 hours long, 3.5 or whatever. This should have been a movie. This should not have been a TV show. And I think that was why it was lackluster. It's like watching a movie and getting up, after 30 minutes and, going and making a sandwich and going to work and then coming back the next day and watching the next 30 minutes. I mean, this was a movie. This was a movie quality production. It was a movie quality story. It's a superhero movie. So for the most part, they're all pretty predictable and stuff on what's going to happen. But we didn't know for sure he was going to take up that mantle. I mean, they played it down a little bit. So it was possible they could have retired it, but whatever. But I think it worked a lot better. And I didn't have a problem with the delayed story beats, just kind of watching them one after the other,
Mm-hmm.
So I liked it. What did you think about the big twist, the Sharon Carter twist? We talked about her in the last episode, didn't we?
We did, yeah. I think that it was what we expected. I think we wanted something bigger, but because that was just the obvious choice. The first time you saw her, it's like, oh, she could be the power broker,
right?
And so if there was any twist, it was like, no, they wouldn't do that. That's too obvious. Like, oh, they did. That was my take on that. I'm a little disappointed. I like her character. I'm a little disappointed that she's a villain now. I get it though. She was ousted by her country. She's got some bitterness, but anyway, it was pretty on the nose for me.
I saw some fan theories out there, and this actually kind of makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. What if she was always the power broker? What if this isn't she's always the power broker? There's a whole video on this I saw. If you look back, okay, why did she side with Cap and Winter Soldier? And it was like, it was the smart play. Mm-hmm. First time you meet her, she's a spy, spying on him. She's already a little shady based on what she is, supposed to be an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And here she is spying on him at his house. She would have known when Nick Fury showed up at the house or at the apartment. Mm-hmm. What happens when Nick Fury shows up at the apartment? They try to kill him. How they know he was there? We never really saw that play out. We never got an answer to that storyline. We just assumed, spy stuff. And then later in Civil War, there's the scene at Peggy Carter's funeral, and the words that she's saying kind of looks at him, basically pushes him along the line to reject the Sokovia Accords, which and then puts him at odds and stuff like that. And then also in Endgame, she's shown on the screen as one of the people that was blipped. Okay. It's only been a few months since the blip was over. If she was really blipped, there's no way she could have set up some kind of a crime syndicate in just a few months. So I kind of thought that, you know, if they go that route and say play up that she was always a villain, maybe not Civil War, or maybe not Winter Soldier, but maybe after that, you know, play it up that she's always kind of been not a villain but a shady character. I kind of can roll with that a little bit better, and we'll see where that plays out.
Yeah, I thought that after the Civil War, I thought is when she started building her reputation. Between Civil War and the snap, that's when she was like, I guess, and maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I guess that's when she was like rejected by the US government, had to go on the run, same time that Steve Rogers is on the run. So while he's in Wakanda, she might be in, what is this, like
it's a place that's very important, Madripoor. It's a very important to the mutants, actually, in Wolverine's story and stuff. Played a lot in the Madripoor. But that actually doesn't really make sense, because if she was the power broker from Civil War to Infinity War, she's the power broker. She snapped away, right?
Right.
Nobody scooped in and took the power broker's power, and she just came back, you know, 5 years later and just swooped it right back up. So there's things that don't add up there. This could be fan theory running wild, but you know, she's kind of been a background character. Unless you're a diehard fan, you probably don't even remember her. My wife did not remember her from any of the movies, so she's seen them all. So she remembers her from the show Brothers and Sisters. She doesn't remember her from that. But so the Flag Smashers, I guess they had a plan, but they were unfortunately the least interesting part of the show for me.
Yeah.
You know, Carly was fine. She was cool. You know, she was a morally great character. We talked about that in the last one. I like the fact that they finally tried to do something. You know, I guess their plan was to kidnap them, and then that didn't work out. So then we're just going to kill them.
Right.
But I liked John Walker coming back. I didn't know if he was going to come back this episode. And I really liked the fact that he came back and he wasn't just there to retake the shield. He was there to do the right thing, you know? I mean, U.S. Agent is kind of an anti-hero in the comic books and stuff. You know, sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. Not bad, but not on the same side, kind of like the Punisher. So I like that, you know, faced with the choice of whether he was going to go after Carly or if he was going to save the people in the car, he saved the people in the car. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I like that they redeemed his character, because one thing we didn't talk about in the last episode, along with all the other things that they were trying to deal with, all the other statements they were making, I guess, about culture and politics, one of them was about veterans, you know, and that scene that he has before he's like disavowed as Captain America before the Senate is supposed to really draw our attention to, you know, just some of the struggles that our veterans go through. And so I like that they didn't just leave him just the bad guy or just a psychological mess, you know?
Right.
So,
I mean, he's not a bad guy, you know, he did a bad thing. If he does that behind closed doors, nobody cares, right?
Yeah. Or if, you know, Bucky or Sam
that's what,
as long as it's not like drawn out, as long as it's not drawn out and bloody, you can kill bad guys. It's just got to be quick, you know?
Right. You got to kill them in the heat of the moment, but don't let that heat pass. You know, there's like that fine line there. Like, you know, I think like Civil War or Winter Soldier, Captain America lands down on a boat. They're killing people. I mean, he straight up lands down and kicks a dude right off a boat who's going to freeze to death in the middle of the ocean if he didn't die from that kick.
Right.
We don't hate him for it, you know, because that guy was going to kill him. But this guy, because he's like, no, and he's like, bam, you know, like he crossed the line, but it wasn't so much. I mean, the guys, I know Sam said, don't call them terrorists, but it is kind of the definition of terror. You know, they had a political agenda. They were killing people. They were wanting their demands met based on their ideology. It's kind of the definition of terrorism.
Right.
You know, but Sam's speech was good. I mean, it was a little predictable and heavy-handed, very Captain America, but, you know, I think he did it well. He didn't really provide any solutions, I will say. It was just like, come on, do better. Well, what does do better mean? I mean, I guess Marvel's kind of written themselves into a hole. Like, it seemed all great in Endgame when they snapped and everybody came back. Like, oh, everybody's back. But this is delving into, hey, you're in my house. You're sleeping with my wife. You took my job. I mean, that'd be pretty messy.
Right.
5 years is a long time.
Yeah. It's like Christian films love stories about like the rapture, and this is like the rapture in reverse, but it's still the same concepts. Like if people just disappeared, like chaos would ensue. Planes would crash, cars would crash. It would be, that left behind kind of attitude. But this is like they did that and then they brought them all back. And it's like it'd be like an even bigger mess. It's just the simple solutions are often not that simple.
Sure. And I mean, I like the fact that they're dealing with that. I don't think we're going to see a resolution to that, though. I think that they will just, it's done. I can't imagine they keep playing that out, especially getting into like Loki and Hawkeye. I don't really know how those themes play into those shows. So I think that we're going to just assume they did better. And that's it, So, but it's cool. I like the costume. I like the fact that he's got the Wakanda tech. It kind of makes him a cross between Iron Man and Captain America. He's got the tech suit. He can fly, and that gives him his strength. That one move was really cool when he was like blocking her and he puts the wings down and they slam into the thing. That was a cool move. I've always liked Sam as the character, so it's pretty cool to see him get his due and stuff like that. Bucky had a nice round up there. They got to come up with a new name for him though. I know he still goes by the Winter Soldier in the comic books, but this whole arc was about rejecting the Winter Soldier, and then that title card comes up at the end, like it's Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
I was like, are they going to play that again? I love that movie.
But they did announce they're making Captain America 4. Right after, like the day after it dropped. So Captain America 4 is coming out, which really we already had Captain America 4. So this is Captain America 4.5, but that should be good.
Or maybe this was Captain America 3.5. Like the
This is the Rogue One of Captain America movies.
Right.
We got to see little Zemo revenge there, pulling the strings from prison with his old butler blowing the people up. I didn't remember at first. I'm like, who's that guy? It was like, that Zemo's like 95-year-old butler. He probably knew Steve Rogers back in the day.
Right.
But so that was cool. I think they're definitely setting up. I don't know if it'll be the Thunderbolts or if it'll be Dark Avengers or whatever it is, but everybody's going to the raft. They were going to send the Flag Smashers there, but they got blown up. But I think there's still one out there though, because
I think that there's one.
Well, so
maybe the helicopter pilot.
They caught 3. Okay. And then the helicopter pilot was the one that Sam went off to go because he's like, "Can you help?" He's like, "Always," which was cool. But when they showed, and this could have just been a shot thing, but when they threw him in the van and the cops like, "One world, one people," there's only 3 people in that van that I could see. So where's the 4th Flag Smasher? I'm wondering.
And maybe that'll become the actual Flag Smasher character.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't remember any of those people other than Carly. They were all they were all pretty forgettable,
Yeah.
I think one of the highlights of this thing was the Isaiah Bradley Memorial. I really like that moment. I mean, I saw it coming. I thought it would be a shame if they didn't do it, but I did like that moment where he, comes out and gets to see that he's remembered and all that stuff, and show him his tribute in the museum. I thought that was a cool moment. I hope we're not done with Isaiah Bradley. I hope we get to see something. I would love, whether it's a TV show, a Marvel Disney Plus thing. I don't know if we need a movie on it, but something like that to just kind of show the adventures of them in the Korean War. I think that might be a cool avenue to explore. Unfortunately, it's got a tragic ending, but which is not in line with Marvel.
Mhm.
You know, aside from Infinity War, I mean, there's not been an unhappy ending in any of these movies. So I don't know if they'd go that route, but I think that the want is there to see that story. You know, but be
I
cool.
think you could really play with the drama of the tension, just like they did with they try to do with Star Wars. There's character has a tragic ending, but you're still going to show them overcoming their obstacles in this moment.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think you have to tie that up though. If you make that movie, you have to lead into the grandson. It's got to somehow spring forward into the future, because he becomes, I think it's Patriot is his name.
Uh-huh.
Kind of the passing of the torch and the healing and stuff like that. It can't just end on a sour note.
Right.
It's not how Marvel does it. So if it's talking about this kid trying to take up and follow after his grandfather, be inspired by Sam, and then we get a telling of that story and stuff like that it ties in, that could work. And I mean, it's a story that's been told in other forms and stuff like that. But I think that, that's what most stories are, is just kind of retelling old stuff in new ways and stuff like that. I mean, we're literally here talking about stuff that was already printed years ago, it's just being told in a different way. So
right.
So what else do we got to talk about from that show? All right, so we got the setup. He's U.S. agent now.
Yep, and he's quoting the comics right there at the end too. Like, I'm back.
Yeah, I mean,
since you pointed out that he is Kurt Russell's son, like, I can't unsee it now. His mannerisms, his look, that is Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's son right there. There's no doubt about it.
They've had pretty successful family, as far as television and movies and stuff goes.
Is this Captain America the son of Ego somehow? Is he related to Quill?
That could be an interesting thing. Maybe he had another kid. Right. That he tried again, and you find out he's actually a celestial on top of a super soldier.
Right. Yeah.
That could be
no wonder he's messed up.
Yeah, that could be nuts. But it looks like that Elaine is setting up the Dark Avengers here, right?
Yeah. Elaine. That's great.
Yeah. She's basically like the anti-Nick Fury. Like she's like Nick Fury showing up at the end of Iron Man saying, we're putting a team together,
Yeah. I mean, and I think that she was kind of like a counterpart to Nick Fury before she was Madame Hydra. She was kind of like a femme fatale.
Yeah, they were a thing in the comics too.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there. What do we got next? We got the She-Hulk's coming up. And in She-Hulk, apparently they're bringing back Abomination.
Oh, really?
And Tim Roth is coming back to play the role. So it's kind of cool to see after, what has it been, like 13 years since he played that role. I mean, that's kind of crazy, but he gets to come back and play in that wheelhouse. I mean, that's a perfect way to start setting this up. You're going to bring back all these characters. You got Zemo out there. You got the Patriot out there. You got Abomination out there. All these seeds that have been playing, all these guys. I mean, that could be putting together the anti-Avengers to take on the next Avengers in their movie. So definitely laying the seeds. I mean, these shows are all about.
Did they fight a lot? The Avengers and the Dark Avengers, were they ever at odds with each other, or the West Coast Avengers? Because I thought they were still kind of all good guys, even if they were.
Well, the West Coast Avengers were basically the Avengers just in another part of town,
Okay.
But as far as Dark Avengers, I don't know. I don't even know if there ever was a Dark Avengers. I'm just saying that because I heard it somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. And I think there were, and I think Wolverine was a part of the team too. So I always thought they were like anti-heroes.
What team has he not been a part of?
Right.
Between him and Spider-Man, they've been on every single team. I mean, Spider-Man's been an Avenger, he's been an X-Men, he's been a Fantastic Four, he's literally been everything. Wolverine's been X-Force, X-Men, X-Factor, Avengers. I mean,
the Canadian team.
Yeah, the Canadian X. I don't know.
Yeah.
What were they called?
I don't remember. That's why I said Canadian team.
I like Canadian X. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it sounds like beer. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I like that they're setting things up. They're laying the groundwork. We've talked about Madripoor. We've talked about the Power Broker, obviously going to come into play. We got the possible Dark Avengers laying out there. I mean, that's what these shows, I guess, are good for. To fill in the blanks and stuff, flesh out characters and stuff. But all in all, I think this is a solid entry into the Marvel library.
Okay. Well, I didn't watch it all together like you did, so I'm still back at the opinion I had pretty much from the last time we talked about this. And maybe it was because it was all broken up, but I still maintain there's just a little too preachy. I agree with you that there was a lot of fat, and the social commentary, it just took me out of it. I still say that. Even Sam's speech, which I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with everything he's saying. I feel like it's one-sided. It's not taking into consideration all the facts. It's offering some simple answers, and maybe that's all you can expect from a show like this. But at least I do got to give them props. At least they acknowledge that they're speaking into very complicated issues. Having a guy with a Star-Spangled Shield representing America in a movie like this is not going to solve all of our problems.
Maybe not the same day after you finish watching it, a week, but I would recommend giving it a rewatch, just to see, because the fat doesn't feel as fat when you're just watching it. It just feels like a movie, Plus, you don't have the expectations and stuff like that, So it was good. I mean, there's still plenty that can be cut out. There's a lot. It's harder to say exactly what could be cut out when I watch it all together. All right, I think we've talked this one to death. Final rating, 0 to 10. What do you give Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with I don't want to say a 5, but maybe a 5.5. I know that's harsh, but I really if it were not for this show and this discussion, I probably wouldn't have watched it past the first or second episode.
Really? See, I'm in it for all things Marvel. I'm going to watch them all, even if I don't watch them right away. I'd probably give this about a 6.5. Okay. I mean, I would recommend it. I would watch it again. I think a 5, I'm like, I'll probably never see it again. But I would watch this again. I enjoyed it. There was a lot I did like about it. It was, predictable, but it was still worthwhile watch. So, and it wasn't bad. So I think of a 5, I start to think bad. So 6.5, I think is pretty good for me.
That's
it's not.
I wanted to go above a 5, but yeah.
So it's still failing, but not, God hope it could get there to a D if it does some extra credit.
Right.
What Captain America 4 has.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. So any final thoughts?
Just a question. What's next? What are you thinking?
Well, we got like a month until Loki comes out. So there's no reason to rush into that. We could do anything. I don't know. What should we talk about? All 10 of you people that are going to watch this show right now, anybody has any suggestions on what we should do next, please let me know, because we could talk the hell out of some Star Wars.
Right. You mentioned The Matrix.
We watched The Matrix. I think the Matrix could be a good one. Maybe we'll wait on The Matrix and watch it a little bit closer to the release, because that's going to come out in December.
Well, if you want to wait on it, we could do Shazam.
Okay.
So we mentioned that a couple videos ago. So
sure. Shazam it is. Next week, Shazam coming at you. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the channel. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, leave us any comments down below, and we'll see you guys for Shazam next week.
Peace.